What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. Bring the Ravens content every single day. It's game day. It's been a very long time since the Baltimore Ravens have played a football game. But, the rest of the season starts today. Uh, Potentially no more bye weeks, for the rest of the season unless either the Ravens get a first-round bye or they make it to the Super Bowl. That's the only way of getting an off week for the rest of the season. But Joshua, how you feeling today? We don't have David Ojabo, we don't have Gus Edwards, but we do have Mark Andrews. We do have Lamar Jackson. How you feeling for this game?
I'm feeling pretty good for this game. When you think about the Carolina Panthers, and Lamar Jackson, I believe the Carolina Panthers were the first team he threw his first touchdown against, and it was to Hayden Hurst.
Yep.
Only thing about it, I know everybody gonna say something about when I say this. They got Baker Mayfield today, y'all, and they got DJ Moore, and even though Baker Mayfield, he has a love hate relationship with everybody in the league. When it's time for him to play against the Ravens, I think you said it before, McConnell, he comes to play. So if the Ravens, if they play above the competition, I'm okay. But if they play down to the competition, with the ailing organization, with ailing players and people getting moved around and disgruntled guys, then we got a fight on our hands. So I got the time already, because it's been a while for them. It's been a while for all of us. So I'm ready to watch this game though.
Yeah, and something about this game that's going to be something to keep an eye on is the wind. Justin Tucker apparently missing from 50 yards, like short. Hit the crossbar on one, then the next one, I think he went short. There's some crazy wind in this game, and that may affect the passing game or the kicking game, but it's really going to affect the passing game. It is going to be very difficult for anyone to throw the ball down the field.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of benefits the Ravens, though, because the way that the Ravens have been playing has been running the ball down other teams' throats. So I think that the win favors Baltimore, I think, in this scenario. But at the same time, I think it also benefits Carolina because it'll keep the game closer. It'll reduce the ability of the Ravens to have those explosive big plays. It'll reduce the ability to just do other things. So it could make this game a little bit closer, but it does make the game kind of fall into the Ravens' strengths at the same time because it's going to be tough for Baker to throw the ball. It's going to be tough for them to hit those routes. Maybe the wind dies down at some point. That has happened before, but that's something to definitely keep an eye on. The Ravens do not have Gus Edwards today. So it's going to be Kenyon Drake. It's going to be Justice Hill. It's going to be Mike Davis. And the last time the Ravens played in Carolina, played Carolina in Baltimore, it was a revenge game for a guy named Steve Smith Sr. The Ravens have a running back on their roster that used to play for the Carolina Panthers in Mike Davis.
Yeah.
So maybe Mike Davis gets a couple of touches. Maybe he does well with those touches. I don't know. I expect Kenyon Drake to be the number one guy. Benjamin says Kenyon Drake 100 yards, 2 tutties. What are you thinking about for this run game, like this rushing attack? Is it going to be like a Kenyon Drake based game?
It is week 11, week 12?
Week 11.
The old guys come alive around week 5, and that's what Kenyon Drake been doing, man. So I feel like Kenyon Drake may get 100 yards, 2 tutties. I would say the best thing about this offense is the consistency in our offensive line. Even though, yes, we had Ronnie Stanley on those snap counts, stuff like that. Ever since then, he's been working. Morgan Moses been looking good. Hell, even though we don't have a wide receiver to show for it, we got Tyler Linderbaum, and Tyler Linderbaum, he's been looking like a Pro Bowl center. So and our interior guys, they doing well too, So they gotten better. Offensive line, they love this time. They love this time of the season. They don't always have to be pass blocking. They like to move forward. They like to stay warm. They like the maul linebackers down and get to the next level, and let their running backs, get behind them and go to the promised land, which is the end zone. So I definitely feel like these running backs can definitely show out today.
Yeah, and the benefit is with the cold weather. I see Lisa asks about this. Will the cold weather be a factor in this game? Yes, just because it makes you play a little harder, right?
Mm.
Every hit hurts a little bit more.
Oh yeah, you're
I
gonna
don't
feel
I don't
it.
know, how many people in the chat ever played, sports that go through the wintertime, especially physical sports, whether it's football. I played lacrosse. Um, you know, it hurts when it's cold. It hurts more
Yes,
when it's cold than when it's, a nice 70-degree day outside. Now, warm weather, hot weather, you're tired because it's, you're exhausted, but cold weather, it hurts.
right.
And so with the way that the Ravens, I think, we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, the way that they've wanted to play, the way that they need to play if they're going to win games is playing physical, is beating down their opponent. This game is going to be the type of game that's going to allow them to assert their will, assert their physicality. And that's not saying try to injure players. That's saying, hey, we're going to be more physical than you. Our offensive line is going to um Benjamin, why you saying I look like a lax, bro, man? Why are you coming after me like that? I didn't play lax in high school. I did not want to play lax anymore.
Really? What position? What position you play?
I played attack.
Yeah,
I
me
played
too.
attack or midi, but
Yeah, I play
I
both.
preferred attack. I hate running.
Same. That's why. That's why we are co-hosts and good friends. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like same thing with soccer. I grew up playing midfield and soccer. That's why I'm super excited for the World Cup. Shout out to Ecuador. They're winning right now.
Okay.
But like I grew up playing soccer and I was always like a midfielder, like center mid. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I hate this. I'm like, can I play forward? And then I started playing forward. And then I switched up and I started playing center back when I got to high school in like club soccer. They were like, McConnell, you want to play center back for us? And I was like, yeah. Because we didn't have any other center backs. So I got to play the whole game, every game, playing at center back in club soccer. And I was like, you know what? I'm on the field. Like,
Should I
and it was
take it?
actually a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed playing center back. FYI, the game is on Fox. Yeah, it's unfortunately the game is not on my local television. The Oregon area. I
Ah,
think Fox is the Eagles game or something like that. Oh well, I'll put it up on my computer. Let's see. This is about the draft, but it's a thought. I saw Bijan Robinson and he's a Saquon clone, bro. Our receivers need for the draft. Um, I think Bijan Robinson is one of the best running back prospects ever. I don't really compare him to Saquon. I think his best comparison is Barry Sanders, which is he's probably the only player I've ever seen that I've compared to Barry Sanders. That guy he's going to be a stud. I would draft him in the if I'm a young team that maybe a young team like the Jaguars or something like that where it's like you have your quarterback set for the future, you have a lot of your weapons, getting yourself that running. Obviously they have ETN, but if you're a young team that you don't really have your stud running back and you're picking in the top 15, maybe it's like the Cardinals or something like that,
mm-hmm.
draft him. He will make your team so much better. Like he could come in and he could be the best running back in the NFL his first year. If he comes in with an offensive line or if he comes in with a good system. Bijan is special. At the same time, I don't think the Ravens should draft running back. We got JK, we got Gus.
If we do, it should be later round.
Yeah.
And if it is a later round guy, I'm sorry, McConnell. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go with the University of Michigan guy, the hometown guy, the DMV boy. I gotta go with my boy Blake.
Oh my god. Michigan almost lost yesterday.
I know,
Um,
I know.
that
But
was
Blake is damn near close to being a top finalist for the Heisman. So I gotta go with
yeah,
him.
Blake Corum's nice. Definitely really leading that Michigan offense. AJ,
And shout out to Biff Poggi getting the head coaching job down in Charlotte too.
yeah, I'd rather try and get Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. has a chance of being the second ever wide receiver to get taken first overall. First one, Mr. Keyshawn Johnson. Shout out to the Jets. I believe they were the ones that took him first overall.
It's
But
got to be crazy next year for Marvin Harrison Jr.
honestly, like if I'm him, it's almost better to just not play. Like do what Jamar Chase did, or like Jamar Chase didn't play his, junior year or whatever it was, because he was like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit out. Now it was COVID at that point, but it's like, yeah, you can sit out and he can train on his own. He could hire. All he needs to do is just hire. Hell, he could hire his dad. Hey, coach me up. Like let's work on my route running. Maybe get a guy. It's just a wide receiver specialist or something like that, and just work on that route running, work on that technique, work on your physical body, because he doesn't need to prove anything. Like when you're already the best, it's one thing to be a quarterback. I mean, obviously, I think he's probably going to play just because trying to win that championship at Ohio State. That at least he's on a contender. If he was on a team like Jamar Chase he was playing with Joe Burrow and all those weapons. Then they all got to leave, and he was like, "Wait a minute, I don't really want to play anymore." Giovanni, the wide receiver from TCU, I believe his last name is Johnston.
Yeah.
He's like 6'4", 6'5". He looks good.
Yeah, he did all right yesterday.
Another team very close to losing, losing to Baylor. But yeah, he's really good. I know we love Addison. Addison would be, and Addison could slide to 20, 25. Depending on how other players do with the combine. 25 could be a sweet spot for the Ravens. Now, I would love for 32 for the Ravens to draft him, but
I'll say we need to slide to 32.
Yeah, but overall, there's some really good wide receivers in this draft, and it's not just in the first round, but I would love the Ravens to go after a first round receiver or corner. I've been saying that all year long. Receiver, well, I also said or middle linebacker, but we got our middle linebacker, I think.
I like the corner out of OU. I forgot his name.
Oh yeah.
No, I think I can say like Brian Smith or something like that.
Oh, might be. I gotta look it up.
He had like 3 picks the other day.
Like there's just so many good guys, in this draft that fit what the Ravens are trying to do. I don't think the Oklahoma guy is eligible yet.
Oh man. Yo, spoiler alert. What if Marvin Harrison transferred to University of Texas just to play with the young Manning? and then both of them go in the same class.
That would be just insane.
If I'm in Indianapolis, I'm selling the farm for both. I'm sorry.
We gotta, because the problem is, I hate this about college football. It makes sense. It makes sense for a lot of position groups, but you should be allowed to go to the NFL much sooner than you can. Like, same thing with the USC quarterback Caleb Williams. He can't go to the league yet because he's not draft eligible.
Oh man, okay.
Because he's only played 2 years. I think you have to play 3 years of college football. Which is stupid. Like, draft eligibility is so dumb for the NFL. Like NBA, it's like, I get it, like, because they want to reduce. It's much tougher to switch to the NFL out of like high school than the NBA.
Yeah,
it is more physical, but I feel like there's guys, there's quarterbacks, there's some wide receivers. It would be tough for an O-lineman. It would be tough for a D tackle. Those positions I don't think would be able to transition, but there should be guys like
they'll have the size, just not the skill.
Yeah,
it's a lot more development.
It's just like, if we had cap, I'd say try and trade for Scary Terry. That'd be filthy. I love Scary Terry. I think he's a top 10 receiver in the NFL. So,
speaking of college football,
yeah,
did you see the clip of the SEC network?
Dude, that was so wild.
Oh man, that was a turn of events.
They were just like, I was not. I don't know. Do you think it was a bit, or was that guy just pissed at something that happened?
Benjamin Watson was really. I think Benjamin Watson really, talked to him because he came back and fixed his shoe. Now I get it. Everybody jokes here and there, but certain things, if you're not really friendly with certain people offline, family, wife, mama, kids, those are offline. and you're gonna say, "Oh, your wife texted me too about my suit." Hold on now, we need to go to commercial break. Started out with 4 and then end up with 3. Oh man, that was intense. That was intense. But they took like
Did
a
you see what Baker said about like the question to Lamar?
being intimidated by his mom.
I did it, and he's like, "By my mama." He's like,
Yeah,
"What?"
you see it? Exactly. He's like, hold on now.
It was pretty fun. Did you see what Baker actually said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really funny because Lamar's reaction was just like, "What?" He had not heard of that, and he was like, "I don't know." He's like, I have no idea. Keep me out of it. Like
He said, yeah, I think I'm about to ask him about that after the game, though.
like she was trying to get me to go out work out with him in Florida. He was like, after a few drinks, I politely said no. He's like, she's an intimidating woman. I see why he's so motivated.
I think she was talking to him I think it was at the Heisman too.
Yeah, I think it was at the Heisman. I don't know when. I mean, they both won the Heisman, and I think Baker won it there last year, and Lamar won it the year before. So I think it was the Lamar's junior year.
Yeah, that was funny.
Buffalo's game is in
Detroit.
It's in Detroit this week. I wish they did not move it. The reason why they moved it isn't because the field was going to be too crazy. It was because nobody could get to the game. That county has a do not travel mandate. Like you're not allowed to leave your house.
It was like 6 feet of snow.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
They set a record. It snowed 38 inches. So over 3 feet in one day. In that county. But man, that would have been one of the greatest football games of all time if that happened. Like if they played that game and it wouldn't have been like it would have been snowing. But it just would have been so cool. Like obviously they wouldn't have played in 6 feet of snow. They would have shoveled it off, but it would have been real tough to shovel it.
Yeah, most definitely.
It'd be like arena football. Like it's all like packed in on the side. They're running into it.
Oh man. Did Maryland lose to Ohio State?
In football?
Yeah, football.
Yeah, Ohio State. If they played Maryland, they destroyed them. So they were up like 21 at one point, I think.
Sheesh.
Let's see. NCAA football.
Yeah, I'm just pulled it up myself.
Yeah. Oh, it ended up being 43-30 was the final score.
Yeah, I know Maryland was bowl eligible this year. Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, against a really tough offense, you'd take that.
Had 2 touchdowns. Two little brother, had 2 touchdowns. But do you see the guy Spencer Rattler?
Spencer Rattler just decided, you know what? I'm going to play one good game in my entire college career, and it's going to be against Tennessee.
We can say that's his fifth. His fifth good game. He had about 4. He had about 4 at OU. Before they put Caleb in.
Yeah, then they were like, oh, wait a minute. This guy's actually really good. Chris Reed says, I want to take the opportunity to give Pro Shea more snaps to get his feet wet a little and maybe try some stuff. They want to experiment, maybe likely in the slot a little bit more. We're going to see with the wind right now. Also, shout out to Engraven Vids, man. Appreciate you, Engraven. Thank you so much for this super chat. But what do you think, Joshua? What are we doing with Pro Shea today?
Bro,
Are we doing anything with Pro Shea today? That should be the question.
Yeah, we're doing something. We're gonna put him in for a blocking for a run play. Like we've been said it. Anytime you switch wide receiver groups as a defensive coordinator, as a linebacker, or whatever defensive captain, you have to start paying attention to that because certain wide receiver groups for the Ravens, they're running certain plays. And James Prochet is more used like a decoy. I think we all in the chat been wanting James Prochet to take that level just off the strength of his dedication that he's been showing, just because who he has become, even the flashes that he showed last year. But obviously, we're not in Orange Mills facility, and we don't know everything that goes on behind closed doors. So I don't know what goes on through Monday to was it Tuesday to Friday or Wednesday to Friday till Sunday,
Yeah.
that they're not giving him the chances to actually show that he's capable of being on the field. I do feel like he's capable of playing for a team that passes the ball. I feel like he has a good enough running route ability to get himself open. He doesn't have the speed, I'll definitely say that, but he does have the hands to make himself available. We just don't use him.
Yeah, and it's really tough with the receivers that the Ravens have, right? We have Devin Duvernay, who I think is the best receiver on the team. Demarcus Robinson's probably the best route runner on the team.
Yeah, I guess we.
Um, then we've got, Deshaun Jackson, who's now supposed to be our deep threat. We'll see. He'll get out there till he, hurts his hammy. So we'll get him for a few quarters at least, every week. But then it's kind of like, okay, where does Prochet fit? And Ingram says best hands on the team. That could be true, actually. Um, it's him or I think Dev. So it's like I feel like we should use Prochet, but at the same time, because we have Greg Roman, like, I mean, we don't come out with 4 wide receivers.
Yeah.
Like, if we come out with 4 pass catchers or even 5 pass catchers, 2 of them are a tight end and one of them is probably a fullback. So it's like we just don't have the formations in the, I don't want to say in the playbook, but in the playbook that's used, the playbook
Mhm.
outside the vault, we don't have any formations that like really utilize Prochet.
Matter of fact, we do preseason, the preseason playbook.
Oh, D Jackson. This is a good point, Ingraven. I didn't realize till that's right. Deshaun Jackson, he's not even on the 53-man roster. That's wild.
And this is
He
what
didn't
I'm
get called up.
saying. This is what I'm saying. Every week is something new. What did I say? In the Lamar Jackson starting QB era, we've only had big names that was on the back end of their career that didn't get used. Like I forgot who we were playing against when we had Dez Bryant, but it upset me.
Titans.
So, and the corner played 20 yards off of him. He literally could have got his first downs moving up the field.
Yep.
Like, bro, and we're just going to run the ball. My man showed that we do got passing plays. We just don't use them. So we take Tuesday to Friday to show, hey, the wide receivers are beating our corners, in practice. But nah, man, the wide receivers ain't beating the corners on Sunday. Hey, old broken down running back, get in the game. Give me 5 yards if you can do that. Come on, man, spread the ball around, show some love. Me personally today, I wouldn't even use Mark Andrews because we're playing against the Panthers. I'll keep on see what we can get out of Isaiah Likely. If Charlie Kolar is ready to go, I'll put him in there. I just feel like certain teams, certain games, if they trying to work themselves back from injury, just like they're doing with David Ojabo, it's not worth the getting your guy hurt.
Yeah, and I see people asking about Nick Boyle. Once I'm just looking at the dead cap. Looks like if we cut him, we can. It doesn't matter about the June the 6-1 deadline. We would save about $7 million if we do cut Nick Boyle. So, for people asking about that. And Void, thank you so much for the super chat. Says we should draft Tyler Hudson in the upcoming draft. Tyler Hudson. Where does Tyler Hudson play?
Void, you might have to be our scout, my guy.
Hold on. Now I got to look him up. I don't.
Yeah, me too. Louisville? Nope, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. If we draft Tyler Hudson, we got to let go Lamar Jackson and bring him Malik. Bring him. What's his name? Malik
Cunningham.
Yeah. No, we can't do that, Void.
Oh, he looks like he's just played this 1 year. I don't think he's draft eligible until. I think he's got 2 more years of playing before he's draft eligible. It looks like.
Dang.
Yeah. Let's see here. Who should be the OC after Chiro gets fired? That's a lot of wishful thinking. um, I mean, I don't know. I don't think. Problem is, John Harbaugh, I don't think is going to fire Greg Roman.
You got to fire John Harbaugh first.
And so then it's just like the question is who replaces John Harbaugh if John Harbaugh gets fired, which I also don't think John Harbaugh is getting fired, but I think that's going to be an outside hire, or it could be a guy like Mike McDonald, because Mike McDonald, I believe right now is showing that other teams will want him as a head coach.
That's a stretch, but I can see it happening the way this organization moves. Or hear me out. Ravens flop. Don't try to beat me down. Go at the Brian Flores. Just saying. It might can work.
Brian Flores isn't a bad option if we want to go for like a guy that's been a coach. I would actually love to give Mike McDonald a try.
I don't know.
But you know, Sean Payton is a great option if he wants to come back and coach.
He's enjoying retirement. I don't see him coming back.
Great. This is a good point. The contract is expiring. You know, we could have a Wink Martindale. It's not a firing; it's a mutual. Hey, I wanted to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, Chicago could use a.
Oh yeah, because they got the best running QB. And let's address that right here. Let's address that right now. Justin Field is not running because they're making design plays. Justin Field is running for his damn life in these games. So by any means, he's going to make something happen. So, you know, if the NFL want to create that narrative that he's better than Lamar Jackson, where we actually have designed plays for our QB, that I clearly don't agree with no more. Hey, so be it. Let it be that.
Yeah, and you know, the way that Justin Fields, you know, plays is very different from Lamar, because Justin Fields is the thing is Lamar Jackson's so unique in the way that he runs the football. It's so different from, and I mean, definitely any quarterback that's ever played. You know, again, the two guys that people bring up is Barry Sanders and Gale Sayers. You know, with the way he runs the ball, just how fluid he is and the way that he, you know, kind of balances. I remember we had AJ on the show and, you know, he's talked about how it looks like he's ice skating. Cause like, you know, everyone else is like falling around him and he just kind of is just balanced and weaving through. Whereas Justin Fields is, you know, he's more similar to the straight line speed, you know, turn and book it like a Michael Vick is, you know, cause that's how Vick was. He sees a hole and he goes right through that hole. Now he can break tackles, he can dodge guys, but it's all about the top speed. Lamar is not about top speed. You know, Justin Fields may be faster than Lamar Jackson at his top speed, but what Lamar does is he sees three guys in front of him, weaves through them, and is able to get 15 yards. Whereas Justin Fields, yeah, he may be able to get through that one gap far, you know, and get a little bit farther than Lamar, but when there's multiple guys in front of you, there's nobody in the NFL that you want over Lamar Jackson. You know, not just at the quarterback position, running backs as well. There is nobody better than Lamar Jackson at getting by people. Now, if you want someone to fall forward, you call up Derrick Henry. If you want someone to, I don't know, try and hurdle someone, you could call Josh Allen. But hurdling typically is not very smart. Rarely works, and even like when it does work, it's like it typically you get tackled right after, and it's always a big hit right after you hurdle someone. It's like it looks great, and then you get hit sticked, and you're like, oh man, why did I jump over that guy? But Hudson listed as a senior. I've never heard of Hudson. I don't know if he's going to be an NFL player.
Ooh, maybe.
Boyd. What if Greg Roman gets a head coaching job this offseason? Then I feel very sorry to the general manager that hired him. That's all I gotta say. If Greg Roman gets a head coaching job.
But after that 2019 season, I think there was chatter that he did receive calls. So I mean, if we get to the playoffs again, hopefully he gets some more calls and hopefully he takes the bait.
I would love to trade Giro.
Yo, it's happened before. Trading coaches has happened before.
Watching Josh Allen get hit stick is my favorite pastime. Josh Allen's a tough hit stick because he's 6'5", 260 pounds or something
He's a
like
big,
that.
he's
He's
a
a
big
big
guy.
dude.
He's a big guy.
Um, maybe Mike McDonald knows someone. Yeah, he knows Jim Harbaugh. He could call up Jim. But no, I mean the problem is Mike McDonald comes from the Ravens organization.
Mhm.
And so it'd be tough for him to know someone because he's coached under John and Jim Harbaugh. He also coached at Georgia when he was like a student assistant in like 2012 or something like that, 2011. But it's it'll be tough for him. I mean, if Mike McDonald is not going to be a defensive coordinator for very long. He is going to be a head coach in the NFL pretty soon. I would not be surprised if he's a head coach somewhere else after this year.
Ooh, that's soon?
Oh yeah. I think there are so many teams that, like the Colts could call him up. I think they could very well use him. They already have, a great linebacker in Shaq Leonard.
Yeah.
They have a good physical, run game. They could call him up, and they don't know who their next coach is going to be. They have Jeff Saturday.
My
Shout out
boy
to Jeff
working.
Saturday.
My boy working. I like this. I like Jeff.
Denver could call him up. They have Nathaniel Hackett right now. He looks like an atrocious head coach. Like he has no idea what he's even doing. And whenever a guy as young as Mike McDonald comes into like a primary position and does as well as Mike McDonald has done, that's going to give them, recognition, right? Guys like Kyle Shanahan, you know, guys like Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, that trio that was in Washington
Yeah.
for a little bit. Kyle Shanahan ends up going to the Atlanta Falcons, I think for a year or 2 years. He was an OC in Atlanta, and then the 49ers said, "Hey, we want you." Boom, he comes over. And I think he's done a great job in San Francisco so far. Been really destroyed by the injury bug, but
Mhm.
the young it's the era of the young prodigy almost at head coach, and everyone's trying to find the next Sean McVay. Everyone's trying to find the next Kyle Shanahan, next Matt LaFleur. People don't want, oh, I'm going to hire this old guy, right?
It's a
I'm
new
going to
era.
bring in this 65-year-old coach that's, you know, like if Mike McCarthy loses his job, I don't think Mike McCarthy's getting hired as a head coach, right? He's an older guy.
Oh,
Now,
for
someone like
me.
John Harbaugh or Pete Carroll or something like that, if they leave, they may want him because they're, Super Bowl winning head coaches. But most young teams are looking for this young guy that can really transform their team, and Mike McDonald is that.
I can respect that. I actually see Pete being done after this year. But, shout out to Geno Smith making magic happen out there, though.
I think Pete Carroll's such an underrated coach. I love Pete Carroll and his kind of just the way that he does everything. I mean, he gets his players to play so hard.
Yeah.
Also cheats in college football, but that's okay. Shout out to USC. Shout out to Reggie Bush.
Oh, man.
That's gonna be the Adam Schefter tweet that kills me. Ravens have extended Greg Roman's contract. Oh man, I'm gonna lose it. I am going to lose it. Greg Roman and the Ravens have agreed to a contract. It's like, no, it should have agreed to part ways.
See, but the thing is, y'all not realizing John Harbaugh's contract got extended. So that means Gregory contract might get extended, especially if we make it to the playoffs.
But also, didn't Brian Billick's contract get extended the year he got fired?
Hold on, McConnell. Don't even bring Brian, Kyle, and Brian's daughter into this. This is a whole different situation. A whole different situation right here. Man, I would love for that to happen, but it has to, I feel like in order for that to be a haul of firing, I think it comes down to Lamar Jackson whether he signs with the team back with the team or not. I think it depends on those talks in March, how they go. or even that, or immediately after the season is over. If those talks go in a positive route where Lamar Jackson, get that contract extension that he's looking for, I feel like John stays. If he doesn't, I feel like John and Gregory Roman's out. And they just gonna start. We just gonna be in a rebuild for the next 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
Benjamin said he'd rather have Brian Billick than Greg Roman as an OC.
I respect Brian Billick for taking over playing for the play calls as for the OC that 1 year. I mean, were they good? No, but at least as a head coach, he said he saw that there was an issue, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna just take over. So I give him that respect. But I mean, Brian Billick is a legend in Baltimore.
Justin Houston's definitely going to hit 9 sacks or 10 sacks on the year. I mean, he's at 8.5 right now. Joshua, what do you think Justin Houston finishes the season with in terms of sacks?
If he doesn't get tested after this game, it might be 15.
Which would be crazy. I mean, that just shows how good Mike McDonald is at utilizing his personnel, because the whole thing was, oh, Justin Houston came to Baltimore and he couldn't really get sacks for us. And it was like, yeah, but at the same time, our defensive coordinator is saying, I don't need edge rushers. They don't get sacks. And I was like, what? And then we get Mike McDonald. It's like, oh, well, none of our guys have been able to get sacks. We can't get pressure in 4-man fronts. And then Mike McDonald goes, yeah, I'm going to get that to happen. And Justin Houston has been the guy. We're going to see what David Ojabo does. He could hit double-digit sacks today. Problem is, I don't know how much throwing the ball there's going to be in this game just because of the weather. I'm hoping that we get
they're going to have to throw. Chuba Hubbard is not getting over 50 yards. I'm saying that today.
Let's see. I wonder what the wind is like right now.
They here in Baltimore today, right? Weather app.
Yeah. It says winds 15 to 25 miles an hour. The hope is that it's not that bad. Like, maybe it was just really bad. Like, they were getting some gusts early on. It seems like it's just kind of gusting every once in a while, which is always kind of tough. But, if they throw the ball, I think we could definitely get 2 sacks on Baker. Just got to make sure you wrap him up.
Oh, for sure.
Playoff sacks do not count for season totals, but he could get 20 sacks, including playoffs.
Well, dang, Benjamin, just throw Justin Houston the bag. Why don't you?
That'd be insane.
It would be crazy. That's what I'm saying. If he doesn't get tested, between this week and by the end of the season, yeah, he's good. Oh, boy.
Boy, why are you doing my guy like that?
That's petty.
Why are you doing my guy like that? Giovanni says Kyle Hamilton's going to get his first pick. The problem is nobody throws at Kyle Hamilton.
No, for real, though.
Like, he's so good. Like everyone was complaining early on because he made the one mistake in the Miami Dolphins game. And I was like, oh, no, it's bad. And it's like, oh, he's been unbelievably good outside of that one play this year. It's like Marcus Williams in his career, right? He completely messed up in the Minneapolis Miracle and missed Stephon Diggs. Other than that, he's been a great safety.
Yeah. Damn, man. I forgot we had Marcus Williams. When's he coming back?
I think December is what I heard. So it could be like 2 weeks.
All right, he's coming at the right time. I ain't mad at that. But Jalen Stone been playing good ball too.
Man, Chuck Clark better not be doing that. Kyle Hamilton had a great pick and a great return on that pick. And then they're like, oh, Chuck Clark penalty. I was like, Chuck Clark, I hate you.
Chuck Clark need to be on special teams. I don't want my boy Kyle being on special teams.
Honestly, yeah. Like, Kyle Hamilton has been so much better than Chuck Clark. I wonder how long until we get. I wonder if imagine Roquan comes out and he has the green dot today.
Did you hear what was said? He learned the playbook in
Yeah.
2-3 days. Like, yo, Mike McDonald his playbook got to be simple.
I think Roquan also, think about this. He played at Georgia.
I was about to say that too.
Mike McDonald got his start at Georgia. So I wonder if maybe it has some similarities to like way back then.
That was early though.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was like, he played there in like 2000. He coached there in like 2010.
I'm looking forward. I mean, we've been seeing guys step up. I don't think it's gonna get that far. I think it'll be Marcus Peters before Justin Houston, because it was Marcus Peters chewing Chuck out last Thursday against the Saints.
Was the Saints? I think the Saints was Monday Night Football.
Okay. Yeah, it was Marcus Peters chewing out Chuck Clark. Like they had to pretty much separate them two.
Yep, always those guys. I am fine if both of them are gone after this year.
Oh man, I mean, Marcus Peters he definitely gives that jolt to the defense. When he came in. This year he's pretty much just trying to get back to being him, and it's not there. You can show he's a step slow and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it comes down to parting ways with him, I definitely will hope he eventually will want to retire as a Raven. Since he said being here brought back his love for the game, and I love him when he plays for us, man. I ain't gonna lie, he look like he having fun.
Oh yeah. And like for me, it's like if we could get rid of we could sign. Here's how we sign Roquan Smith. Get rid of Chuck Clark.
Nick
Boyle. Don't re-sign Marcus Peters for a large extension. Now we could re-sign Marcus Peters for sorry, Ecuador just had a shot on goal. We could re-sign Marcus Peters for a $2 million deal, right? I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Don't give him 10, 12, $15 million in 1 year. Instead, give him a $2 million deal if he takes it. If not, that's fine. I don't think Marcus Peters would get big money anywhere.
Yeah.
He may get like 5-6 million somewhere. That's about as high as I think he'll get.
He's a depth piece at this point of his career.
Mm-hmm. And so it's like, use that money on Roquan Smith. Boom. Where's that? Like, we don't need a free agent acquisition. We can draft, a first-round corner to start opposite Marlon. And if we retain Marcus Peters, then boom, we don't need that. And if we retain Marcus Peters for really cheap, then first-round wide receiver next to Bateman and Duvernay. And it's like, wow, look at that. We have great wide receiver room, great running backs, great offensive line, great tight ends, great pass rush, great linebackers, great secondary. Boom. And I don't think we trade Patrick Queen because Patrick Queen's isn't a Mike linebacker. He's a will. He's a will linebacker. And having Roquan, he's going to play the Mike. And so that's going to allow the Ravens just to be, look at that. They have two great linebackers.
And then he was a first rounder so he got a fifth option. So he got a fifth year option.
Exactly.
So we're good.
We have him for like 2 more years.
Yeah, I don't see unless he just starts going crazy and we don't have the money, then yeah, we might have to make a big move as far as trading him. But I don't see that. I don't see that happening. I feel like he's going to play at the level consistently that he's playing at.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. And this team, the way that they're built, they're trying to win not just now, they're trying to win in the future, and that's because they've been building through the draft. We don't need to go crazy in the offseason with free agent signings, right? It doesn't have to be – last few years it's been bring us Allen Robinson, bring us Julio Jones, bring us Kenny Golladay, bring us Juju Smith-Schuster, bring us Odell. Yeah. I don't think that's this offseason. I think this offseason it's two things. It's sign Lamar, sign Roquan, and draft well. Draft a cornerback that can play. And maybe the cornerback that steps up is Pepe, next year.
I like him at the nickel, but
I'm fine with that too. I think he's been a really solid. Maybe his Brandon Stevens steps up, but draft up maybe a first or draft a first round corner
Mm-hmm.
and, maybe, or draft a first round wide receiver, third round pick corner. Because Ravens don't have a second rounder. They traded that one.
Yeah. The only way I see Brandon Stevens getting better, he has to train his behind off with a top corner specialist, in my opinion. He has the skills, just by making the transition. I just feel like he has to continue still working. That's all.
Do we end up cutting? I don't think we cut Jalen Armour Davis. The thing is, Jalen Armour Davis, I talked about this when we drafted him. He's not pro ready. He was drafted as a development corner. He's a fourth round cornerback. Now Pepe was less so. Pepe was like, okay, this guy could play a little bit early. Jalen Armour Davis was, I talked to people that were Alabama fans, and they talked about it. They said, like, hey, this guy's not ready yet. Maybe he could get there. He has the talent. It's just, hey, he hasn't, it's not like he was a lockdown corner at Alabama.
Right.
That's not the type of player that we drafted. We drafted a player that went to Alabama, was a starter at Alabama, but needs to grow his game a little bit more to be able to play. So I think a lot of people, a lot of fourth round rookies are not going to come in and be very good players right away. Not all of them can be guys like Isaiah Likely. Because this upcoming year, it's the last year, I think, on Morgan Moses' deal. So we're waiting. Like most fourth round picks are selected for 3 years in the future and depth pieces. Pepe Williams has, I think, showed like, hey, he can be the starter that the Ravens need, but Jalen Armour Davis, we're waiting. And he's also been hurt a lot.
A lot. He's on his Marshall tip.
Devon Marshall slander still goes on, and he's not even on the team anymore, and everyone's hating on him.
You know what? I blame it on Void. I really wasn't going to go there, but it was easy, man. I'm sorry. He was a good guy, though. Taking up money. Oh, we are at the 10-minute marker, guys.
Oh, man.
I ain't gonna lie. It's been a long time since we streamed this long. I love it, though.
The Ravens were the one that listed Lamar as illness. He could have been sick. That's the thing, is Lamar could have been sick, but also had something to do. And they're like, oh, it's easier for us to just say illness, because then if they say, personal day, everyone's going to be like, Lamar Jackson not committed to the Ravens.
No,
calling Coward. No, Skip Bayless was right. Lamar Jackson just is out. Like, he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Illness at least is like, okay, maybe he wasn't feeling that great, but also like he was going to miss the day anyway. So it's like, okay, the birth of his, I believe it's his goddaughter, I believe.
It's the goddaughter. Not another daughter. It's a goddaughter.
Ooh. All right. It's almost game time, Giovanni. What's Chuck's trade value? Low.
Bro, we could have got him out. We could have got him out early for maybe a third to Indy.
I think Chuck Clark's value is maybe a 5th round pick. I don't think he's worth anything higher, because he's
at this point now. Yeah.
He's not young. Like, if he was young, if he was 23, like, yeah, but I think people undervalue 2nd and 3rd round picks. Like, those are very difficult to get, right? DeAndre Hopkins was traded for a 2nd round pick. Skill position players are going to be traded much higher than safeties. What was, I'm trying to think of, recent safeties to be traded. They are not being traded as high, like quarterbacks are traded for 1st round picks. Exactly. Future Pro Bowl left tackles like Orlando Brown Jr. didn't even get a 1st round value. It was seen as like mid-second. So it's tough. And trading for another 1st round pick, Trading for first is very, very difficult.
It's tricky too.
Like, I don't know if we have any assets that we could trade for a first round pick to where it would be worth it, right? Like, all the players that are worth a first, right? I don't like, we can't get rid of them. I don't like Rashad Bateman would not get a first round pick. Like, and we don't have many players that are more valuable to this team or are more valuable in terms like Lamar. You would get picks for Lamar. You get firsts. You probably get 2 or 3. Other players, you'd maybe get a first for Marlon. Maybe.
Depends. It really
Because
depends.
the contract is so big. So it's like, first round picks are very difficult to trade for.
I think you get a first for Marcus Williams.
And Spooky J, we got a first, but we also gave up other things. The overall value was seen as a second round value return that the Ravens got for Orlando Brown Jr. We got the pick 31, but we also traded, I believe, a third round pick with it. I think we traded a third, we got back like a 5th and a 6th, and there were a lot of picks in that deal. And again, yeah, like Void, like you're saying, like the players that could maybe return a first round pick, we could we're not trading. Like, we're not trading Marlon. We're not trading Lamar. We're not trading, any of these, subs that the Ravens have. And those are the only ones that would it's not like the Ravens have a top end wide receiver or running back at the end of their rookie deal. Like AJ Brown. AJ Brown was traded for a first round pick, to the Eagles. Like, we don't have an AJ Brown, like a guy that's about to get a new massive contract. Like, we don't have that. We don't have anybody like that. So, it's tough. Chucking a third for a second. I don't think so, just because our third round pick's going to be 29th, 28th. It's not going to be a good that's the thing about Ravens picks is they're not going to be, if the Ravens had the 10th pick in the third round, yeah, you could do that deal. But they don't. They're not going to have that pick. Tyus Bowser and Chuck Clark, adding more players that don't have a lot of value is not going to give you a first round pick return.
Whoa, hold on, Giovanni. We giving away Tyus? What do you do to you?
Also, yeah, don't trade Tyus Bowser. Tyus Bowser, I think, would be traded for a 4th round pick.
At that point, I gotta go for Penei Sewell. I gotta go for the younger Sewell brother. Just to make up.
Trading for a first round pick, I don't think the Ravens have the capital. Now, if they wanted to, they could say, hey, we'll trade you a future first and a 4th, right? Those types of deals are possible. It's just unlikely to do so because I think next year's draft is when they're looking for Marvin Harrison Jr., right? And so it's I don't think we trade for a first. I think it's more likely that the Ravens trade back for 2 seconds with their first or something like that. And I don't think that's very likely. But yeah, I don't think the Ravens trade for a first. I don't know if they can, unless they trade Lamar, because they're like, Lamar's not re-signing. Let's trade him instead of for a lot of picks, which would be really unfortunate.
Can you really trade somebody that become a free agent after the year's over?
Yes, yeah, you can, because you could franchise tag him and trade him, and then he would agree to an extension.
Sugar honey iced tea, that's crazy.
Yeah, it would be that'd be unfortunate. But Joshua, we got what is it, 5 minutes till this game starts. Let's get into some bold predictions. Let's talk about the offensive side of the ball. What's a bold prediction you got for the offense?
I got to go for 300 rushing yards today. 3 tutties. It's gonna be a combined running attack.
I like it. I'm gonna say the streak continues. 3 games in a row with a touchdown for Mr. Isaiah Likely.
I love that.
I don't think it's going to be on the same play that he scored the last 2, the fake rollout. But I think he does get a touchdown today. I think that would be really big for this team. Defensive side of the ball, I'm going to go with we get a defensive touchdown today.
We get a scoop and score. Forced fumble out of Pete from Patrick Queen. Roquan's right behind him to scoop it up and take it to the crib.
I think we get a pick 6 out of Roquan.
Ooh. I'm liking both. I could dig it.
Hey, I'm okay with both. I'm starting the Ravens defense in one of my fantasy leagues. I would take it.
I'm just saying, like, the running back is Chuba Hubbard. I'm not disrespecting Chuba, but yo, everybody been talking about, you know, Ravens defense ain't really been stopping the running game and stuff like that. We've been getting with them.
Void, these are bold predictions.
Void,
that's not very bold.
You're on a roll today, man. You was on a roll today.
Marlon Humphrey gets a pick. I like. There we go, Void. There we go.
On DJ Moore.
Oh. Away gets 2 sacks. I like that one, Giovanni. You know, Ravens versus Baker Mayfield. This is a tough one. I will say, though, middle linebackers have success on interceptions on Baker Mayfield for the Ravens. Shout out to CJ Mosley.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to that guy.
What did we say? Oh my gosh. Kyle go crazy and gets 2 picks today. I like that. Duvernay head tops a defender for a touchdown. I like that one as well.
I'm loving it. Oh, so y'all pretty much saying that we're gonna score early and lately. All 4 quarters, we're gonna make a touchdown. I love this.
Yeah, we haven't really had a big offensive performance game yet. I think this would be a huge one to have. Joshua, is there anything else you want to say before we kind of wrap up this pregame stream?
Man, let's get to it. Make sure y'all. We'll drop our PSNs and after stream because we working.
Absolutely. All right, guys, make sure to come to the post game stream. Thank y'all for coming through. Subscribe for daily Ravens content. We'll see all of you after the game. Hopefully, the Ravens are 7-3.